Hi everyone, welcome back to World Class Inventors. This is video number 12 in the series, and this is video number 5 on vetting. And yes, my website was vetted, so it's part of this tutorial as well. And besides that, it's something I'm very proud of. It's very informative and educational for you, especially if you feel that you might have an idea and you want to go on this inventor's journey with myself. I mentioned it several times already, and I'm really excited to share it with you. So let's go on a little tour. So as you scroll down a little bit, the first thing I tell you is you might want to consider what I have to say before you begin the process. And I think it would be smart if you did, but that choice is yours. In the first video or so, which were introductions to this topic, I asked you the seminal question: what roadmap will you be following in order to get your invention into the marketplace? I hope you have a roadmap you're going to follow, and if not, I've developed one and I'm going to share it with you. It's at the bottom of this page. Remember, you have to go from idea to finalized product to market. And in my case, I had an idea. I was a backyard inventor, just like I'm hoping you're going to become. And my product sold in excess of $100 million over the course of 3 months, the very first year that it was offered for sale in Walmart. And I share a little bit of that story with you in the previous video, video number 11. Here's something else that's important. Right here. I don't know where you're getting your information from, but I can tell you this. Owning a patent or a trademark doesn't automatically give you nearly the protection that you've been led to believe that it does. Now, I kind of tell you why I know that right in here, and you can read that for yourself, and I've already given you a little bit about my background. So right now, right here, I don't care about your credentials. I don't care about your background, whether you've done this before, what level you're at. I still think I can add to the conversation, and I think there are some things that I can share with you that you might not be aware of. Now, this beautiful sunrise in the chevron, it means a lot to me. You see, I fish for striped bass very heavily every fall from the beginning of November to the middle of January. And I'm on the beach every morning in the pitch black, waiting for this little hint of orange glow and this little hint of blue to break through. Now, maybe out of 100 outings of bass fishing and seeing every kind of sunrise you can imagine, there's only 5 or 6 sunrises that'll stop what I'm doing, that I'm totally arrested by their beauty, from God above putting on the most magnificent show you can imagine. And I have to put my rod down, take off my hat and my gloves, because oftentimes it's in the teens when I'm fishing. And I just have to take a picture. So I do collect sunrises, and that's why they're on my YouTube channel and my website. I know I digressed, but this is about getting to know each other as well. So here's the roadmap. As I mentioned in the first introductory videos, that I have over 100 topics I want to share with you. And I will do that throughout the YouTube video, and I'll certainly do it throughout my World Class Inventors Handbook. But here is a sample of the macro topics that I cover. And then I break these down and I go off into different areas depending on what I'm talking about. They're all contained in this book. It's kind of neat. You can come down to the bottom, see the size of the book, the particulars. It's 13 chapters, around 125,000 words, and 110 different subsections. So let's go over to my About page. Again, this is my background restated. And when I first met you and I was talking to you about the different options you have, I said that I printed them out in a list on the second page of my website. Here they are. You take a look at them. You try to make heads or tails out of them. See if you have a blueprint or a roadmap that you can follow that'll give you any confidence to get from idea to finished product to protection to marketing, etc. I don't think you're going to stumble across, but I've been floored before, so let's see what you can come up with. Again, I restate the fact about the patent and the trademark, people putting their absolute trust in it. And here are the other voices and the hawkers right here. How come they're not telling you that a patent and a trademark isn't the ultimate protection and it's all that it's cracked up to be? Well, it would disrupt their income strategy and their sales paradigm. You see, at this point, I have very little to gain by telling you the truth other than just being an honest agent and doing so. And I have absolutely nothing to lose. So that's why I'm doing it. Because I've been deep inside and it's not everything that it's been served up to you to be. This will explain it right here. So let's go on to my bio. We're almost through. As you can see, I'm a waterman, I'm a surfer, and I still surf today. I'm 64, and I can still ride a longboard like I'm riding it right here in my 50s. So here's my background right here about being a truck driver and my citations and whatnot. I was the first and only outside inventor that Fram ever brought in to bring out into the marketplace a finished product. As I told you, it sold over $100 million worth of product the very first year it hit the shelves in Walmart. And as I said, it did it in about 3 months' time. I lost over 6 months due to repackaging, and the first 3 months was filled with utter pilferage and theft. So I lost about 9 months worth of sales that first year. So I didn't make this slogan up. Allied Signal did. Allied Signal was a Fortune 38. They had one of the most powerful automotive aftermarket divisions in the United States. And they were the owner of the Fram Corporation, of which I went into a license with. They made this. One of these videos, I'm going to put up some of the marketing materials so that you can see them. This is the amount of retail sales. At that time, it was around $5 billion. And here's something important. Honeywell and Allied Signal merged in a friendly merger in the summer of 1999. And you would think that the pursuer was Honeywell, but it wasn't. It was Allied Signal. Now, why did this happen? You see, in the late 1990s, mid-90s, these major corporations were stagnant. And they, for the life of them, could not please their investors, Wall Street, the money managers, the retirement fund portfolio managers. So what they would do is they would buy different divisions from different companies within their grasp. They would do friendly mergers. They would do hostile takeovers. And Allied Signal was no different. They wanted to increase their share price, so they ended up merging with Honeywell. This was the brainchild of the CEO then, Larry Bossidy, who used to work for Jack Welch at General Electric, and he was in charge of GE Capital at the time, and Larry fancied himself as a Jack Welch protege, and that's about all I'm going to say about that. So I'm just giving you a little background and the complexion and the lay of the land when I was dealing with them. So here's a good one. I should be, at very least, the co-inventor of an additional 31 U.S. oil filter patents, but I'm not. You see, Allied Signal and Honeywell, after they merged, they violated USC 35, 115, and 116, the oath of inventorship, the first and true inventor, which was me. And they filed a bunch of patents behind my back around the world. So right here, I did the unimaginable. I filed a federal lawsuit against them. And I just want to show you that I did, because talk is cheap. So here's the complaint that I filed. My name, live in Point Pleasant. You can find it on Google Maps if you're so inclined. Telephone is a defunct landline, so I blacked that out. But you can see it's little old me against them. And it's Honeywell, and it's Allied, and it's the aftermarket division, and of course that includes Fram. But let me show you something. I think it's kind of neat. See how it says Exhibit 1? If you go down to the bottom sheet, I think you're going to end up with Exhibit 32. So it was 54 pages, 32 exhibits, and that's my federal lawsuit that I filed on July 1st, 2002, in the federal courthouse in Newark, New Jersey. Let me go back to the full page. Now, where did I get this document? Of course, I have this document home and it's in my computer, but I got it right off of here. Pacer. I'm a member of Pacer, and you can join too for free. All you need to do is join, and you can look up any lawsuit in the United States of America. I mean, bankruptcy cases, federal cases, superior cases, and they'll let you download pages up to 30, I think. The first 30 is free, and after that, it's a minimal charge. So that's Pacer right there. I have to go around the mountain here again. Excuse me. So I believe in telling the truth. I believe in showing you the facts. When I say something, there's no hyperbole. I don't have to exaggerate. It is what it is. So let's go to my CV page. Right here is the TRT oil filter, which the main ingredient was alkyl zinc dithialphosphate. The additive package that I studied from Sadiq Ali, who was the owner of Anna Laboratories, which was a oil analysis laboratory in South Jersey. They were a pretty big player. He was brilliant. He gave me a lot of information. And so did my friend Ben Serto. He was high up in Chevron Oil. And by the way, and I don't mention all these things as I go along because I forget all the details. Chevron was one of the major motor oils that were offered at the time that I was a truck driver in the early 80s. There were two major motor oils that were offered. It was Chevron, Dello, Dello 100, and I think there was another one, Dello 300. And then there was Shell Rotella T. So that's something I left out in a prior video. But anyway, I became very familiar with that additive package through the scientists and the chemists at Chevron who actually sold their additive packages to oil formulators. There's a lot involved. There's a lot I didn't tell you, but I just didn't fall off the turnip truck. So anyway, here's the Fram double guard that I invented. It came from my 842 patent, which was a Teflon treated oil filter patent. And this is the culmination of my relationship and all my research, my trademark agreement, and my association with DuPont Chemical and my understanding of DuPont Teflon. I brought that entire co-branding and manufacturing and intellectual property portfolio to Fram for this particular oil filter. They did not dream this up. I did. It exists because I did it, not them. So here's a breakdown of both of my patents. It's put in layman's terms, easy for you to understand what I did. But I want to take you someplace neat. Let's go right here. This is a learning lesson for you. This is called Google Patents. So you can see the two oil filters that I invented, and now you can see a non-provisional patent application that I filed for a tangle-free flag. I'll talk about that in a moment. But let's go back to the first one. So we click on it, and right over here we go to patent info and we go to citations. Now, you keep hearing me tell you that I changed the category and that I'm the most cited inventor in the United States Patent Office and that I had a disruptive patent and that I had a benchmark. And those are just words, but how about a little bit of proof? Here's the citations for this patent that was granted to me in 1988. The prior art goes back to 1941, 1943. We were still fighting World War II. I didn't get out of high school until 76. And I didn't finish college until 82. This is the prior art. I didn't file this thing until 1988, I believe. Anyway, I want you to notice something. Atlantic Richfield is an oil company. They're known to you today as Arco. Ciba-Geigy is a massive chemical company. Borg Warner, they make controls, they make specialty products. They're quite a company in of themselves. Standard Oil, that's John D. Rockefeller. That's Standard Oil. Then they went to Saucony Oil. Then they went to Esso. Then they went to Exxon. And today you know them as ExxonMobil. They were in the prior art. Sinclair is the one with the dinosaur. They're no longer in existence. I'm sure parts of their oil company are still around. And this is what the citations look like. Now, it says it's cited by 44, but it's much greater than that. Something is happening with the algorithms. Citations only grow, they don't decrease. And I've gotten the accurate citations by other means, but they're screwing around with my citations. I don't know why. So let's go back here. This one. This is the Teflon treated oil filter. We'll go right down here for citations. Guess what? There's 3. You don't see any oil filter companies listed. You don't see Fleetguard, Baldwin, Donaldson, Wicks, Fleetguard, Lubrizol. You don't see anybody. You don't see Fram, you don't see Purelator. This is a guy that stuck it in a bottle. These don't even have anything to do with it, but the examiner had to come up with something to compare my patent to, and he was hard pressed. He should have just thrown up his hands and say there isn't any. And he was a real bugger to deal with. His name was Matthew Savage. I had to discharge my patent attorney for a while so that I could have hand-to-hand combat with this guy over my claims. He was a real bastard. But anyway, that was part of the deal. So there's a lot going on here. This is a tangle-free flag that I invented. So when you're in your car or walking or on a bicycle and you're walking through a neighborhood and you see a tangled up flag over a flagpole attached to a home, and those flagpoles are not on a 90-degree angle, it's probably around a 160-degree angle. It's shooting up towards the sky. They're tangled. Well, I came up with an idea how to make a tangle-free flag, which I've done, and it works. I built prototypes. I had flying trials for a full year. Here's where I filed a provisional in September 25 of 2019. Today, as of this video, it's April 25th, 2022. I still don't have an examiner assigned to me. So go figure. This is important for you to read. This is the basis of being an inventor. It's USC 35, 115 and 116, the Oath of Inventorship. This is the lawsuit. That's the complaint. That's where I got it from. You can go and see it for yourself. So, I have an FAQ page. Might have some questions that these will answer directly. I have a contact page. You can contact me through my own radio telescope. It's right here. Actually, it's right there. And let's get to the buy books. So this is still my website. Once you click here, and I even show you who the printer and the distributor is at a full transparency to let you know that I'm not printing these in my basement, or I'm not having them printed overseas in China or something. They're print on demand by one of the biggest and most prominent companies in the world that does this, Ingram. And all of your information is safe. It's on their secure network. It's all encrypted. So you would just go here and you can buy either the paperback or the ebook. I give you a description. As you can see, each book has an international booksellers number. You cannot self-publish a book today without one. You can't. It's paperback. It's 416 pages. This one happens to be 32 chapters, and it's about 250,000 words. And it is the revised version of what it was like to file a lawsuit against them. So here's the other book. Same thing. This is about $20. There's less paper involved in here, and there's more paper involved in the other one. That's why it's a couple dollars more. The ebook for both, they're $10. I want to say this. It doesn't say it here, but both books I applied for and received official copyrights. So these books are copyrighted. Now, why would you do that? Let's say somebody is using my material falsely. Somebody is ill-gottenly profiting off of my intellectual property, my books. If I go to sue them or send them a cease and desist without a formal copyright, Do you realize that you got to go and file for a copyright and pay about $2,500 for an expedited copyright so that you can start to begin to document and calculate damages? The same thing holds true with your trademark and with your patents. So it's very important to formally do these things that I'm going to be teaching you about. So that's what I wanted to share with you. One last thing. They're on 8.5 by 11 paper. Paper, when it comes into a printer, is calendared. It comes in 8.5 by 11 sheets, just like you would buy in the store. If I had a 9 by 6 book, it would be much thicker. It would only be a portion there of the book. I would be paying for all this waste. The book would be much thicker. It would be heavier and would be more expensive all around to produce. So I went and made both books on 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper, and I did it to be as efficient as possible. So here we end up with my first page again, and I want to sign off. And I know it was a long tour, but I wanted you to see it all and understand what it's about. You can go check it out on your own time now. So thanks a lot for stopping by. I'll see you around. And again, God bless all of you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.